we kind of thought that the old course reverse first hole is that the best opening hole in golf because one, you're at St. Andrews, you're hitting towards the Swilken Bridge, you're hitting into the road hole green with the road hole bunker. It's like, man, like it's hard to beat that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special, I don't know how to say it different, Jonathan,
I
a
don't even
very
know.
special episode of the Whole Story podcast. Robby and Jonathan here. Today we are going to talk, we've got a couple of guests. We're going to talk about our experience in Scotland for the Old Course Reversed experience. This is just the podcast version where we're going to talk with Andrew Voss and Adam Van Zee about our rounds with them. We do have a little bit longer documentary of our entire trip. That's going to be coming out later, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, this is a podcast where we talk with these guys who we got paired up with. They're both from Indiana. Great, great guys. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Jonathan, what'd you think of kind of our recap with our friends there?
It felt like we were back on the proverbial 19th hole, getting to just chat, reminisce, think about what it was like, relive the moments. You'll hear us say in the podcast, golf is people. We say it all the time. And they're really honestly, I have a hard time thinking. It felt like we were hanging out with our best friends that we play golf with all the time. And like that quick. By the time we got to probably the second or third hole on the castle course, it was just there and easy. Even down to simple stuff. If you play golf a lot, there's a rhythm to playing golf with other people in terms of who takes the next shot and, you know, who's going to have the honors and that kind of stuff. And it was all just like normal, easy, just a group of guys who felt like we were out there on a Saturday afternoon on the plains of Indiana
Yeah, it
or
felt like
down
we
here.
played together forever.
Yeah, like it was just regular golf. And it stayed that way the entire time. Uh, I, I can't, yeah, I mean, the experience on top of the experience with those guys and you and just it's hard to explain. It was that
Yeah.
good.
Yep. Well, there are a lot of stories in this episode. I think you guys will enjoy. Many, 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 many thanks to Dan Drollinger and our
Right.
friends at Summit Golf Brands. We were rocking the Beadratty shirts. We did have our Beadratty vest, zero restriction outerwear on. The one thing that we did not get to use, as we thought, man, we're going to Scotland, we're going to use
Right.
this stuff. We thought rain gear. We have this nice rain gear that sat packed up in our suitcase the entire time because we had incredible weather. But it is incredible stuff. Check out Beadratty, Zero Restriction, Fairway and Green, all the brands there at Summit Golf. If you go to their websites and use Best Ball 20, you can get 20% off. Jonathan, it was awesome, right?
I
It's incredible clothes, things like that.
I'm not a vest guy, and I will take a vest with me on every single golf trip I go on from now. Like, you got a quarter zip, or if it's super cold, you got a hoodie. You throw that vest on, and you're good. The sun comes out in the middle of the afternoon, or you get frustrated because you're still bad at golf and you heat up. You can just take that thing off. With the wind, I really was hoping. Like, we had some awesome rain gear. I actually played in the rain the week before we left just to make sure it all worked right. It does. I can't wait. I can't wait for a rainy day around here. I can go play golf by myself on a golf course in the full gear. So, yeah, if you're on a golf trip, you have to go on the zero restriction. Off the course, you're going to want to wear some bead ratty, some nice, comfortable things for the plane ride. Best Ball 20 is going to get you 20% off, and you will not regret the comfort of both on and off the course clothing.
Yeah. So many thanks to Dan and the team there for outfitting us, not only for that trip, but for all the stuff that Best Ball does with our podcast, with going to play at some great places. We're very thankful to be working with these guys. Another one also, Western Birch. We scattered and broke some tees
A lot of
throughout
teams.
Ireland and Scotland. Western Birch is incredible. So there's some best ball tees. If you go to the tee boxes there at the Old Course Reverse, it's crazy to think that there's best ball tees laying around at some of these courses. And so many thanks to Lewis for his partnership with us in this venture. But you can get custom tees with any of your logos on it. You can pick a ton of different colors on their stripe patterns. Many, many thanks to Western Birch. Check them out, westernbirch.com. Um, Man, John, we work with some great people, friends that
Incredible.
have great businesses they're a part of. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it added to the experience, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Anytime you pulled a tee out of your pocket, you're just knowing, man, this is best ball is here. We're getting to do this. So a lot of fun. We think you guys will appreciate this episode with us recapping our trip to play the Old Course Reverse experience. I will say we got it through the ballot process. It wasn't like, hey, best ball, y'all come play this and say nice things. No, we were just like everybody else. Jonathan applied, Adam applied, I applied, didn't get picked, but they applied, got selected, kind of like the Masters lottery, but it's the St. Andrews ballot. And we got selected to go play in this great thing. We played Castle, Old Course Reversed, and then the Old Course. So ballot system will come out for 2026. It'll come out in December. So pay attention to their social channels on Instagram and things like that. That's where they posted things about it. It'll take you to their website to apply for the ballot. But yeah, we got selected, and it was an experience of a lifetime. So many thanks to St. Andrews for throwing this out there, for offering the opportunity for people to get into the ballot to play this. We tried to come up with one word that would, and we can't. Like it was perfect. So anyway, without further ado, we hope you guys enjoy our chat with Adam and Andrew and Jonathan and myself about our foursome around the Old Course. Well, Andrew, Voss, Adam, welcome to the Whole Story Podcast. Glad you guys could join us today.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So I'll back it up, and we've told this story before, but Jonathan tells me one time after we recorded a podcast, hey man, I just got selected for this thing. We're going to be going playing the Old Course Reverse, the whole experience. Adam, I think you were selected as well. You probably had that same, call to Andrew, like, hey man, pack your bags, we're about to go. But I still think the craziest thing is an Instagram post by the St. Andrews, the home of golf, I think is their Instagram feed. And it said, what courses are you excited about playing this year? And through the best ball account, I listed out Castle, and I spelled out Old Course backwards and then Old Course. And I get this a message or something, somebody named Saucy Vossy replies underneath it saying, oh, are you going in April? And then a private message comes over. Yeah, we got selected. I'm going with my friend. We're playing all these courses. And then I looked at it again. I'm like, wait a minute. His tee times are the same ones as our tee times. And lo and behold, the four of us are paired up all 3 days to play the Castle course, the Old Course Reversed, and the Old Course. So I think, and Jonathan and I have talked about it, I know we talked with you guys, like quite a pairing. Like we couldn't have picked better people to be paired up with. So I'll just start out by saying thanks for you guys for helping to make this such an epic trip.
Go for it, Adam.
Yeah. No, we always worry about who you're going to get paired with, how that can affect your experience, and kind of as we unpack the entire trip. My wife, who was also on the trip with us, kind of said, "What was your favorite part of the trip?" And I said, "Honestly, the dinner that we had at Old Tom's restaurant, because it was just us four and her, and being able to sort of talk about life and outside of the golf course. The golf was second to none, but that experience with you guys was, a highlight for me. So we were very fortunate to be able to be paired with you guys."
Yeah, no, I to build off that too, I appreciate it. Like I said, Adam and I are pretty low key golfers. We play together a lot, and we're kind of in the camp of if you're not good at golf, like play fast. Luckily, you guys are both good at golf, and you play fast, so that was awesome. I think we got lucky. We were a little reserved at the start because we were like, oh, we're going to be playing with these guys all 3 days. Kind of a bummer. We wanted to meet a bunch of people. Screw that. We're happy we were with you all 3 days. We got different caddies every day. We got the photographer out there the one day, so we got a variety of people too. So, but yeah, to build off Adam, I would say it's a pretty good 3 days. So
We'll get to the amazing caddies because Andrew by far just dominated on the caddy list. But listen, I felt like my last first date was the day before I turned 19, and so it's been a minute. Robbie and I, the same way, we play golf together all the time. So like, we have an idea of where the ball's going to go, where we're going to miss, all that kind of stuff. But we looked you all up on like the Gin handicap, and we're like, oh crap, these guys are like twos and fours, and I mean, because I'm not a good handicap. I'd like to point out that my handicap went down by 2 points, which I'm pretty excited about. But like I'm still a 20, like a 19, and so there was a lot of intrepidation in the sense of, especially like you said, we were going to be stuck with each other for 3 days. So if Sunday's bad, there's still a lot of time and ground to cover before we could be like, all right, see y'all. And just like Adam said, I think the culmination of the fact that four random strangers or two groups of strangers decided after what 15 hours almost or more, because we hung out afterwards of the first course after like 15 plus hours of spending all day long in both the highs and the lows, we all said, hey, you want to go to dinner?
Yeah.
And so
and then ice cream.
and then I
Hey,
said,
hey, let's get it right.
that's right.
Gelato. Can we talk about it by its proper
Gelato.
name?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll get to your favorite food, which we know you probably have
The,
ownership at this point.
the double tone.
With the amount of
Yeah,
money I spent there that week, I better have some ownership.
yeah, you got some ownership. Well, let's start with kind of the schedule. We started at the Castle Course, so we walk in. Jonathan and I walk in. You guys had beaten us there, and so yeah, familiar with you guys. We all became friends and followers, at least through the social channels. So recognized the faces when we walked in, and we kind of hit the ground running. Like we had Ryan with us. Shout out to Prestige Golf Photography. The pictures he took were epic, and started sharing some of those out here recently. But yeah, meet you guys, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're about to go play the Castle Course. So what was your thought going into the Castle Course? I know the big draw was the reverse routing on the old course and the old course itself, the Castle Course. What was your thought going into that? And then how did it meet or maybe exceed expectations for y'all?
Yeah, for me, my thought was I knew it was going to be probably the most difficult of the three. The old course, I don't know, is not easy, but knowing that the talk around how difficult those greens were, and that stacked up. Those greens were very, very hard. So, but outside of that, I didn't realize how much terrain that it crossed, how much you could see the city of St. Andrews from there, how you can see the water. It's a beautiful course, and it really, really kind of hit a home run right off the start of, hey, if this is supposed to be the worst course that we're going to play, and obviously we had courses after this package, but it was one of those things where I didn't necessarily play that well, but it didn't matter, and so really started off real strong because of that, and kind of got the nerves of being at a new place with new people, and being able to just enjoy a really good day, and quite honestly, that was the worst weather we got, and it was still really nice.
Worst weather being like there were a couple clouds in the sky.
Yeah,
Correct.
a little windy.
Extremely lucky. So shout out whoever was looking out for us there. It was funny to even before we rolled onto the property. It's a little bit of a drive from downtown St. Andrews. We had stayed in town that previous night, so it was just cool driving up to it, the entryway, and taking the little road in. We were driving through, and I said this course would feel you could pick it up from here and just put it abandoned. I was lucky to have my first abandoned experience end of January this year. And so that's still obviously I'm still riding that high into this high, so I'm gonna be golf high for another couple months. But that was my initial feel, and then you get down to this just beautiful clubhouse, 360 views. Like I said, you can see the city. So I didn't do the most research going into the trip. I like going into everything with an open mind, get my own personal rating on everything. I knew the greens were kind of wonky. I knew there were good views of the city, but that's very tame compared to what it actually was. You just had the most spectacular views of the entire city. The vistas were amazing. The greens weren't that crazy. I mean, they were playable. So I've heard they've redone them a couple times, and they might be redoing them soon again. But I didn't think they were as crazy as people thought they were going into it. So thought it was very playable. Really enjoyed the experience. It was a good first little toe dip into St. Andrews. So yeah, I was really happy with it.
Yeah.
Uh, Go ahead, Jonathan.
I was gonna say, I felt like the Castle Course was sort of the player to be named later in a trade, because it was like, oh, okay, we're gonna play the Castle Course too, and then when we get there, I mean, I don't know about you guys. Again, we walk up, and let's just talk about Saucy Vossy over here. You walk up, and you got this guy that's 6'4", dressed to the nines. He might have had his cool blue shades on already. He just looks like the golfer. You're like, oh yeah, that guy plays golf. So we have to go on the first hole, and I would say the first hole was probably the one thing that it doesn't lead you up to what the rest of the course is going to look like, because we went par, 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 par. We're like, oh, okay, this could be a day, and then we turn a corner. It's like, never mind. But yeah, like you don't know what to expect. There is some nerves. Robbie and I had already played a couple rounds. I think you guys had already played one, or
I had played Ely. Yeah, Adam chose to take a nap after the plane. So,
Smart
but
move.
so you're just trying to get into what it is going to be in the moment. But I don't know about you all. In the back of my mind, the entire day was tomorrow we get to play the old course reverse. But it was kind of freeing though, because that was the day where you could take a moment and just look out over the city and see the amazing views. Again, Andrew deciding oh, this is where the pros hit from. I'm going to hit back here and drive this over a massive gap and just drop it right in the middle of the fairway. But you get to feel out sort of golf in Scotland, and we also got to feel out sort of what the foursome was going to look like and be like, and how we respond. And again, at the end of the day, we were like, hey, anybody want to sit down and have a drink and have some food? And so, what an incredible start to just the momentum kept going after round after round after round.
I had gotten a couple people, Ryan, our photographer included, that said, oh man, when they heard the list of courses, and other people, they said, oh, y'all are going to love Castle Course. And I was like, why? Tell me this. Like, you've got the history of the old course, but why do you say we're going to love it? And everything y'all talked to, the views, just the shape of the course, it helped that we had really good weather where, sun was shining, the gorse that had the bright flowering yellow there on it, which I think by the end of April, it'll kind of die off. And as some say, will just turn gray and kind of ugly. But yeah, just everything leading up to it, I was like, all right, well, this is going to be fun opening round. And it exceeded all my expectations. And just so many of the holes, I think, like you guys said, we haven't been abandoned, but so many of the holes, like you said, are what I would imagine on like a coastal course where so many shots are there. You might fall off a giant cliff down to the beach. So yeah, I absolutely loved every bit about it.
That didn't happen, by the way. None of us hit balls into the ocean that day. None of us.
No.
Just going to put that on record.
Not at all.
Yeah, not on that last par three, not at all.
Yeah, the most beautiful hole in the course went perfectly.
Yeah,
we were all birdie, 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 if I remember correctly. Like
Yeah,
it was
good. Yeah.
Yep. I think we played whatever you got the ball on the green. Start with that one and finish whatever you score from there. So talking about the holes, like, did y'all have a favorite? Did y'all have one of the holes that kind of stood out in your mind on the Castle course?
For me, honestly, it was probably 9 and 18. Even though I played 9 well, but 18 didn't go as well. If I would have had taken the same line as Voss off the tee on 18 and had 165 in or whatever, it would have been great. But I thought those were really cool holes with the greens and how they were situated, and those were 17's obviously a star because of the way it looks. That hole was playing incredibly difficult that day because of it was being downwind. I think it was like 185 from the tees we were playing. Even I hit the second ball I hit was great, and I still couldn't hold the green. So that one's always going to be a star. But I really liked the finishing hole and how it kind of finished over the. It wasn't quite an infinity green, but kind of looked out over the ocean, and that second shot was really cool. So those are the two that stand out for me.
What about you, Jonathan?
I think is it number 12? 12 is the highest point on property. And by that point, I realized the round was not going to go as I was hoping. So I was like, okay, let's just turn around and look at the city and enjoy the view. But you don't expect that much up and down, really honestly. Like, we're on 12 and you're looking down and you're like, wow, that is a long way to get there. And I think even by the time we got to like 14 or 15, we were still trying to figure out how are we going to get back to the clubhouse with this much room left to go between where the clubhouse was and where we're going to be. So,
well, you talk about 12. Adam, I think it was you that where we were standing on the tee box on 10. You're like, 12th green's way up there. Like, we have to get up there somehow.
Yeah,
and yeah, it only took a couple holes to get there, and that was a big climb. Andrew, what were your favorite holes?
Honestly, I want to say 16, kind of like I said, getting to the edge of the property. I thought the tee look was really great. I thought the approach was great. I thought the green complex was great. I thought that hole was just absolutely complete. And obviously, like I said, reaching the end of the property and then making that turn and having that reveal back to the city. You know, you're staying on 17 tee, seeing that amazing hole, seeing the city in the background, and then you can see 18 pretty much fully laid out too. I thought that 16 green was honestly, metaphorically, the highest point on property, other than 12. But yeah, I just really love 16 for some reason. Yeah, it was, the routing was great. Like I said, you make that turn and it's like, okay, the end is close, but it's not that close. Like you still get to enjoy a little more. So yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of poetic there.
Was it number 5? I'm trying to remember. 5 kind of had a little bit of a turn, and then the long par 5, the pin was kind of up on top of a like plateau at the very back of the green, and we could see around the corner
Yep.
and see the city. Am I remembering that one correctly?
Yeah, I think it was around that time of the round because it wasn't early. We were excited to take pictures, and Ryan was like, no, not yet. Like, it's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
There was that par 4 where I hit a driver. I think everybody else chose not to. Aggressive lines only over here. And I ended up at the bottom of the hill. But it was a par 4 because it was that 3-tiered green. We all took the group picture on top. I can't remember what hole that was, but yeah, the blind tee shot down, which we all thought was kind of wild. You often see blind tee shots hitting uphill, but no, this was blind hitting downhill. So that was kind of a fun little narrative too. So yeah, that was awesome.
I don't think anyone held that green. That green was just miserable.
I don't think my putt held the green.
Yeah,
Right.
the pin was brutal all the way in the back because you couldn't go long.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, quite a finish on 18. I do remember that was one of the first times where I hit one of those low running like 7-irons from right off the green because I had to, right? If I flopped it, like it could go in the ocean, or if I left it short, But I do remember at least finishing okay after a tough round. But it was a lot of fun. But yeah, that was kind of the appetizer, even though it was a pretty healthy appetizer. One I think we all enjoyed a lot. But then we have a great meal there at the, I can't even remember the name of the place, Spindle something.
Rock and Spindle, I think.
Rock and Spindle, there you go. So we ate there with Ryan. Again, shout out to Prestige. If anybody's booking a trip to Scotland, you by far have to use Ryan and Prestige Golf Photography. I know you guys used them at Carnoustie a few days later.
We didn't have a photographer booked going into the trip, but we had one booked by the end of the trip. So yeah, shout out Ryan. He did a great job. Made my hair look terrible in one picture, but he made up for it in every other one. So
Yep. No. Well, I mean, hey, it's Scotland golf, right?
Just don't put that one on your dating profile. It'll be okay.
There you go. He's 6'5" with the hair. Come
You
on.
can't put all the good ones out
Yep.
there, Then you're setting a bad precedent. So nobody checks my gin. I'm not going to put my gin on there. I'm not going to put my.
Well, we can vouch for that. He's a good golfer. All right. So the next day, old course reversed. This was kind of the main feature thing, right? What got us there. And none of us had played the old course before, besides maybe a video game. So we're standing, getting ready. We get caddies. Each of us have our own caddy. What were your thoughts going into this round? Thinking, I'm about to stand on one tee at the old course, and it's okay to hit it left at the Swilken Bridge because that's the way I'm supposed to go. So what were your thoughts leading up to this round?
So
Andrew, I'll start with you.
we kind of cheated a little bit. We had walked down there the night prior and kind of watched people tee off because in the past, I think the reverse had only happened one day a year. I want to say it was Easter Sunday. This year, obviously, they did 3 days. So it was already going when we got there. So we went down and we were watching people tee off, and we were just completely in awe of how far the ball was rolling out. So we go into it thinking we're going to need to hit maybe a driving iron or something, get it down there. These people, I swear, were hitting 7-irons. Their ball was getting all the way to the burn. It was insane. So we had some information going into that at first, but I think I teed off last. I think I was big surprised taking an aggressive line.
There we go. What club did you use? That was
Yeah.
7-iron. It's going to roll.
You learned, right? You got some inside knowledge, and then what did you pull out of the
Oh,
bag?
exactly. I pulled out something that nobody else pulled out, the driver. So Yeah, it was fun. They said the burn was like 270. I said, I'm probably never going to get to do this again. Why would I hit an iron off this tee? So I'm at peace with what I did, and the story that came from it's pretty fun. So to tell the viewers here, I did pull the big stick. I did try to fly the burn. I did not. I ended up hitting the Swilken Bridge, and it caromed into the burn. So, which I then got up and down from a drop and saved par, which was a spectacular start to our experience.
Yeah, a little mini fist bump there on number one
Yeah.
there, number 17 green, our first green,
So
which
yeah, that was a good
quite an
start.
up and down.
Yeah, I remember you guys were already on the green and just laughing as I'm trying to get up and down from 70 yards back. So I was kind of pissed at the three of you then. So there was a little fire behind that mini fist bump. Not gonna lie.
There you go. Jonathan, what were your thoughts going into this thing?
I'd like to start off by apologizing again to Robbie because he handed me a camera and I thought it was recording and it was not. What's really interesting is that it took two other people because he just handed it to me. So I think Adam went next. So I'm just holding the camera there. Nothing's recording. And then so I missed Robbie's first shot. My thought about the whole entire experience was one, we have a caddy. Brian seemed to be fine. They all kind of looked at me weird whenever they're like, wait a minute, you don't have. Actually, I thought it was really funny because our caddies, Robbie and I, they grabbed our bags fast. They're like, wait a minute. One of the guys got a half set, no driver. Let's just pull it as quickly as possible. It's going to be the lightest walk of the day. Um, there was plenty of room anywhere you wanted to spray the ball on that first one. So, you always hear about the nervousness of the first tee at the old course. And I was like, how? There's 270 yards all the way down, and there's at least 250 yards left to right. So, like, just get up there and hit a ball and see what happens. So, um, I didn't expect there to be as much, like, it was like incoming barrage of golf balls from every direction in the reverse. If you ever get a chance to go, because Rob and I almost made this mistake, just get a caddy. You're never going to know where to go next. There's no way in the world to tell what's going to happen next. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it lived up to the expectation for sure. It was a great day to play golf. It was beautiful, and it was unique. Like there's only a handful of people that can say they've done that. So
Adam, were you nervous going into the first tee shot?
Nervous in a way, yes, but thankful that it's the world's widest fairway. Like that made it so much easier because you'd have to hit way off to bring anything else into play.
so
I took 6 iron, which was I had plenty to set me up. The once it was off the club face, it's like all right, we're good, kind of ready to go. The interesting thing, and Voss and I kind of had this conversation while we were driving the last day. We kind of thought that the old course reverse first hole is that the best opening hole in golf because one, you're at St. Andrews, you're hitting towards the Swilken Bridge, you're hitting into the road hole green with the road hole bunker. And it's like, man, like it's hard to beat that. Obviously, there's not a lot of intrigue in terms of the hole, the fairway being so wide, but it's hard to beat that. And so that was, after the fact, really thinking the kind of how cool of a hole that actually is.
That's a great question. I wonder if that man.
well, it's the
Most opening holes are pretty boring and
well,
pretty nondescript, and they're trying to get you out away from the clubhouse. But in this case,
Keep you
it's like,
moving, yeah.
yeah, this has had a little bit more intrigue
Yeah,
to it.
you get the
and it
three
only
best
happens like
elements of three of the best holes in the world all together on
right,
one hole. Like it's
yeah,
you can't beat it.
and it only happens 3 times a year.
Yeah,
Right? Like, I mean, you want to talk about opening hole. That's like almost like a wormhole, right? Where it's just there for a moment and then it just disappears.
yeah,
It's the leap year of golf holes.
yeah.
There you
Good
go.
way to put it.
Yep. No, that's funny you say that. Like it combines the elements of like three of the best holes all into one.
Yep.
So for those that, like everybody else in the world, will never see my opening shot, I actually hit it really well. Thanks, Jonathan.
I'm
Now,
still
I was nervous,
fun.
not nervous about putting it in the ground. But if you think about it, and other people have talked about this, by the time we played, we had a late morning tee time. People were coming up from 1 tee to 18 green, so there was traffic crossing. But the people around that are watching, right? There are people that are there that aren't playing golf, but are just in love with the game. They're not watching, kind of like you guys the day before, watching other people play. But there are I don't know, 50, 100 people within the area that are about to watch you take a shot at the home of golf. And I had plenty of other shots that, thankfully did not happen on the first tee. But it's a pretty intimidating shot to pull off. And thankfully we all hit it pretty good. So a lot of fun. What shots do you remember from the round besides the opening? And Andrew, let's save yours for a minute here. But what shots in the reverse routing do you guys remember?
I mean, I've got one that comes to mind. So
Go ahead.
Not
Go ahead.
not to play off Jonathan's caddy comment earlier, but my caddy decided to never tell me where to miss, which is fine. I don't need to know where to miss, but he chose to withhold the fact that, hey, there's 40 yards of green behind this pin on the I think it was the third hole we played technically, where the hell bunker comes into play. No, sorry, it wasn't the hell bunker. But anyways, I think the pin was about, I don't know, 4 or 5 steps on, with 40 yards behind it, and I chose to try to play that sucker pin and ended up right in the trap in front. So I remember that shot because we tend to remember the negatives at times. But as far as other shots that we remember, I think the tee box on the par 3 in the back was super interesting.
Yeah.
For many reasons, but
What kind of buildup are you trying to get to here?
What about 18?
We want to know the shot. There's a shot.
we'll get there.
All right. Now let's hear the shot. These guys want to hear it. Tell us about your 18th hole, teeing off from number 2 tee box to the 18th green.
All right, number 2 tee box, going over the burn again, which was my mortal nemesis at this point. So pull the driver. I say I'm going to play a baby cut. I played a baby cut for sure. And for those who haven't played the old course, if you're teeing off from an 18 tee, the road on the right side is very in play. And apparently the only people that park on that road are people that are not locals because the cars are very in play. So you take it over to the second tee, you got a lot more room to bargain with. So I hit my little baby cut. I don't see where it went. I pick up the tee early because I'm happy with it. I got it in the air, got it over the freaking burn. Apparently it comes to rest on the road which crosses 1 and 18, which honestly I've watched a lot of tournaments at St. Andrews. I didn't know there was a road there. I'm not gonna lie, that was a big surprise to me. As you know, the day we got there, we see people walking across it, we see cars driving across it, so that was kind of wild. So
during play, they'll just take their time and then go.
Oh yeah, wild. So I get up there and I'm looking at it and I go, you know what? Kind of like on the first tee where I pulled the driver, I said, I'm never going to be able to do this again. You know, if I'm teeing off from 18, I'm definitely getting over the road. I'm going to play this freaking ball off the road.
Road.
As I line up to the ball, I think I hear Jonathan. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I don't have time to process at that point. I'm already going through my motions. But I nipped this thing great. Sparks flew, metaphorically and physically. And I put this thing to like 6, 7 feet on the green. I get up there. I'm just cheesing. I think I gave Robby a high five in the moment. I think there's a spectacular video. Shout out to the one good thing my caddy did all day by filming that amazing video. But I get up there. I'm, on top of the world right then. I'm standing over that putt, and I feel like I felt like Rory felt, that playoff hole, the Masters. Like, I'm sure he was shaking. I was thinking about it. And I just hit the perfect putt. I knew off my club face I had a shot to go in, and it just fell center cup. I let out a big fist pump, not a mini fist pump like the first green, and I felt like I had just won the freaking Open, man. That is my number one golf highlight of all time, and I've been lucky to have a lot of cool things happen. That one is, just top tier. So
I wonder if it's rain, then your signature's gone. We went back the next day and made sure to find where it happened and circle it and sign it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the club survived too, right? Like it's doing well.
It's already been taken out of the bag. I'm not sure if it's going to be in play again. Ooh. I think it's just going to be that little memento. And it's funny because that wedge is actually the special edition wedge. It was from the Ryder Cup a couple of years ago, so it's got the U.S. flag stamped on the back. So I'm sure the caddies over there hated pulling it. So.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
Very, very nice. Adam, what shots stand out for you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of a culmination of shots. I drove the ball outrageously well playing in reverse.
With a torn hamstring, by the way. We haven't
That's right.
mentioned that. We get there the first day, it's like, yeah, I tore my hamstring a couple weeks ago playing tennis or something. Like what are you doing? But yeah, it played well. Drove it well that day especially.
Yeah, and I don't carry a driver, unlike Jonathan, or like Jonathan, but do carry a 3-wood, and that I basically my caddy would pick out a either a church tower or a bush and say this is where you need to hit it, and I would it was working really well. The rest of my game was just okay the rest of the day, but man, I really remember those shots. And as Andrew said earlier, I remember the one bad shot that I had on I think it's the eighth hole, the par three, where we kind of stood there for 8 to 10 minutes. It was the only part of the course where it felt really windy,
Yeah.
and it was blowing, and there
A
was
lot of overlap too.
yeah, people walking all over. And I think Robbie, you and I both would like that shot back.
Yes.
But it was playing like 180 dead into like 25-mile-an-hour gust, and so that's a hard shot as it is. And I think Jonathan had up and down, all world up and down for par, if I remember correct. So I remember that hole, obviously in a negative way, but overall, I just drove the ball, and it felt really good because my caddy was great at pointing out, hey, here's where you need to go, and be able to kind of listen to him and pull that off is probably the biggest memory that I have on the reverse.
Yeah, Jake, my guy, was excellent as well. But yeah, no, we threw some low worm burners off the green that was right in front of us. Thankfully, the guys hadn't walked up there yet, and a lot of topspin to take it over into our second shot. Still a long way away. But Jonathan, what stands out to you on the reverse side?
It was exactly what I was talking about. So I think I hit last on that particular one, and my caddy Brian, he grinded with me all day. We were trying to break 90 on the old course reverse. I shot a 94, and I was gonna hit my 7. He's like, "No, like you need the 5 because the wind was just that strong." And so I hit it, and it sailed left. And I swear, every round I got a marsh lie. Like I found the balls in the most awkward space as possible. So I ended up getting a thick grass just off the green with the ball like belt high. That was the only option for it. So I took my gap wedge and just tried to chunk it out of there, and it just popped beautifully right up, rolled on down, and I was within a couple feet for a little putt for par. So, and I think, yeah, I won that hole, which might be the only hole I won that day. So that was great. I mean, the other side would be just the missile attacks from all different sides. Like that's what I remember. Because and what's interesting is the next day on the old course, it was still sort of that way. So if you've ever played the old course and you get to that sort of back end, almost just after the turn, and you're like, there's a lot of action going on left to right. It was chaos because there were groups that had caddies, there were groups that didn't have caddies. You didn't know if you were walking in front of someone's first, second shot. You might be walking up a hill heading towards where you're going, and then all of a sudden there's a green that just shows up, and you got to wander around that. So I thought the chaos of the day probably reigned at the old course reverse. And again, we got to stand around a little bit, but my gosh, what a view, right? Like I always joke around, the only thing better than Tuesday golf is Monday golf, and that was quite a good day for Monday golf.
Yep. For me, that kind of like somebody said about Landman one time, their favorite hole is the first because they know they got a bunch more. But the opening tee shot, right? Your first time at the old course, reversed, straight, whatever, and you're hitting an opening tee shot. And so that was a highlight for me. A lot of others that stand out, but one thing I liked is I actually got it in a bunker. Andrew, you said you didn't want to be in one, but being in a bunker. And you hear about the stories of these, see it on TV when they play the Open or the other events there, but having to go out sideways, right? You have to take your medicine. And I know, Adam, you had a couple like that as well, where it's like, the only option, because there's an 8-foot bank right in front of me, is to go sideways or to go backwards, right?
Adam's actually teaching lessons to professionals who want to figure out how to get out of greenside bunkers. Was it the old course reverse or the old course where you were like 4 for 4 on up and downs?
Yeah, the reverse. I was fortunate I wasn't in any faces, so I didn't have too difficult of shots, but I definitely was getting up and down from pretty much everywhere. They were good bunkers to hit out of.
Yep. All right, so then the next day we turn it around and go what they call the traditional routing now. any nerves now back on the first tee, knowing you've done it once, but now you for us righties, they say, all right, now you can't miss right. So Jonathan's like, all right, great, I got all the room in the world on the left, and for us that fade the ball a little more. It brought a lot more danger into play. So, what were the thoughts going into the round on the old course?
I was more interested in who Andrew's caddy was, to be honest. Like whenever we first got there, I'm like, all right. So whatever the guy's name was before, he basically didn't say three words to you all day long. You got the exact opposite on the regular course. That dude was, I mean, the comments from the other caddies about your caddy was probably the highlight of the day, almost the highlight of the
I
day.
don't know who I pissed off to make this happen. It's like I did something in a former life. I don't know. But yeah,
The one that got me was he's like, guys, did y'all hear Val Kilmer died? It's like, what in the world? Where did that come from? Oh, it was just out of the blue.
ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, in a sense, it was everything you want, in a Scottish caddy. But they weren't good stories. They weren't funny jokes. They were terrible reads. Like, I don't know. He checked a lot of boxes, but they were boxes on the wrong test. Oh
Oh
man.
yeah.
But I think he told me to pull a. I was having a decent round. Funny enough, the day before I normally don't hit a fade, and I was fading the ball, and I knew we were going to get in trouble. So me being the quintessential golf nerd, I had brought a second shaft along with me. And I meant to switch them out, but I forgot to that morning. So I went into it already like crap. I screwed myself, and I was missing with my driver all day. And then we get to this super tight hole. Forget what number it was. I think it was playing like 325. Maybe a nice 210 shot would have been great. He goes, hit the driver, man. So I pulled the driver and I just put it in some gorse. And I think I followed that ball before it ever landed just because I wanted to get away from him so badly. And I'm walking through the gorse looking for the ball, and I was just like, man, like, why didn't you tell me to hit a driver there? I'd been spraying it all day. And he goes, well, if you would have hit it straight, it wouldn't have mattered. And I in the moment didn't take it very well. I'm not gonna lie. He was trying to be funny, and I could be the butt of some jokes at some time, but I was just like, man, that was not the right time to say that. So yeah, that was pretty frustrating. But yeah, I guess I wish I would have remembered the other shafts, so I wouldn't have an excuse. But still played pretty well. And by the end of the round, I was more invested in Jonathan's round than I was in my own. So let's get to that.
Heck yeah, Jonathan. What
Well,
happened?
first of all, I do appreciate the fact that even after 3 days, you guys were still like, okay, Jonathan's okay. We're gonna watch him play golf still. Uh, so I had Nachi, which you talk about caddies from Scotland, right? He's Turkish. He owned an Italian restaurant in St. Andrews for 35 years, and he's been caddying since he retired. And the only thing I remember about him, the most thing I remember about him most is, all right, partner, we got this. Come on, partner, we got this. Like every single time, he was right there with me. I flat out shot the best first 9 holes I've ever shot in my life. I shot a 40 on the front of the old course. I mean, I think I had like 3 or 4 pars. I think I had one bogey. Like I just, it was absolutely magical. And I wasn't even paying. I knew I was playing really well. So then I started on the back, and my whole mantra. And anybody out there listening, you're trying to break 90, average five. That's it. Average five, and then and the nice part was you guys were reminding me, hey, you still got three in the bag, right? Because like I'd be somewhere and I'd be like, oh man, I just missed it. That's okay. You already had one in the bag from before. So if I got it, so the back nine, I'm like five, 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 and I didn't even make it up on three. On a par three, I ended up with a five there too. But uh, yeah, it was. I don't know where else you want to break 90 for the first time. I can't imagine there's a course or a moment or a place. And I get to the road hole, and we're hitting over the hotel, striped it down the middle of the fairway, and then I hit a ball short, and then I put it over, and then I put it over, and so I'm not in despair but at this point I wasn't keeping track. So I turned to my good buddy Robby, and he goes, "Do you want to know?" I'm like, I don't want to know." And then I go, "Yeah, I do want to know. I want to know." He goes, "If you hit a bogey, you'll shoot an 89." And oh my gosh, that was just I hit a decent shot off the drive. I was right at 200, 175, 200, something like that. Hit a really nice 7 iron, about a yard short. Otherwise, it would have been up on the hill. All I remember is I hit the ball, and then Andrew's like, "Oh, it's in the what is it called?
Valley of Sin.
The Valley of Sin." And in the back of my head, I'm just thinking about what just happened on 17, where just putted all over the entire freaking thing. And so I got it up the hill, and I think I had like maybe an 8, 10 foot for par, and it rolled in. The bagpipes were playing in the background, and that wasn't like in our head. It was actual bagpipes playing in the background. The ultimate Scottish tradition. So
That was unbelievable. I kind of forgot about that till you just said that. Yeah, I don't know if it was a funeral or an event or whatnot, but we're walking up. We teed off on 18, and right as we're walking to the Swilcan Bridge, these bagpipes start playing. We're like,
yeah,
is this in my head? Like, am I imagining this? This can't be real right now. And then it just kept going. It was the most spiritual thing. Like, you couldn't have written it better. That made up for, everything else. That was it. And you can't write it better than that. It's unbelievable.
No, it was fantastic.
I know at some point I turned to Robby and said, I'm more invested in Jonathan's round than I am my own. And I think it helped me play. I played pretty well that day and was scoring well and finished pretty strong. But I was invested. Like I wanted to know, keep your head. I don't remember what hole it was. Maybe I think it might have been 9, the shorter par 4 where you didn't hit a very good shot off the tee. And I was like, man, this is the hole where you can get away with that because you can still reach the green and so I was invested in that, and it really kind of propelled me to focus on something other than my own game. And outside of, I've got just as much memories from you. My wife's got a great picture of me with my arm in the air as your putt's about to drop on 18, which is hilarious because, I was just as much on your side to try to make that happen. And my memories of that round, honestly, are at 17. Obviously, we had an overcast for basically one hole. Kind of the fog sort of rolled in and came across when we're trying to hit that drive over the hotel. And that hole will be memorable for me because I hit a good drive and I had 210 left in, which is, a long shot for anybody. But I absolutely striped this 4-iron to like 15 feet on the road hole. It held. If it goes a foot further, I'm on the road, but it stays on the green. Unfortunately, I missed the putt, which would have been crazy to birdie that hole. But both Jonathan's round and then being able to kind of continue the momentum with my own was definitely a big memory.
I do have a question. Do you get relief if you're on the road? Is that a free relief? Okay.
No.
Because I mean, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm pulling an Andrew. I got a putt from here, and unfortunately, it didn't work out as well as Andrew's off the road thing. But yeah, it was. Robbie and I talk about all the time how golf is people. And you all being just as invested as some 21 handicapper shooting under 90 was honestly just like the highlight. Like Robbie being there, fantastic. But I knew Robbie was going to be there. More than likely, Robbie would have been somewhere whenever I broke 90. But for you all to, hey man, no, that was a good shot. Don't worry about that. Or hey, that's what Hey, you know what? You saved double. Even though Andrew's rolling in. Andrew's a really good golfer. If you ever play golf with him, he's like rolling in, almost lipping out for birdies every single time. Adams just striping his 3-wood straight down the middle of every single fairway on every single shot. And somehow, what'd you shoot? Probably like an 80?
I shot 75.
Right, exactly. So at the end of the day, he shoots 75. Andrew, what'd you shoot on the old course?
Oh gosh, was this 74? Did I get you that day? I can't remember.
I don't think you got me that day. That was the only day that we didn't either tie or you got me.
But this whole week after, everybody's been asking me what I shot, and it's like that's not important. I don't even care. This is the experience. Yeah. So, but I will say I'm very happy we did not have any side bets, cash games going. I'm sitting here like, Jonathan, you just got a net albatross. You just got a net hole in one. Like, I've been so screwed.
Oh man, yeah. Shoot on the Castle course, if we played from the blacks, I had 31 shots on the Castle course. if we played against everything, so yeah.
But you might have actually used them all in that one.
Oh, I 100% used them all there. No, I shot like a 58. I think I beat the course record on the old course if you're looking at that.
It was fun. Obviously, the reverse was just incredible because it's so unique, and we'll always be able to say we got to do that. And there's not many people that have what we look, John, what 10,000 some applications, and
ten
you know,
thousand applications.
a couple hundred maybe got to do it.
Mhm.
But the playing the old course in the traditional way, just from a historical, you remember these shots, Adam, like you were saying, hitting over the road hole, over the hotel there, hitting it at 18, walking, swilking, the direction you're supposed to. Just so many memorable shots from, man, I can say I was there. And the next time the Open comes, what, in a few years, we'll be able to like, ooh, my ball was here, or I hit it better than that guy, which you guys will probably be saying that. So
So I
it was
guess
a lot of
we'll
fun.
ask now, which did you prefer?
Well, I mean, I shot an 88 and broke 90. There's no
Let's go
way.
score.
Like, I mean, like,
Say you only get
huh?
one chance ever again to play any course of St. Andrews. Are you playing it forwards? Are you playing it backwards?
I'm playing it forwards. I really enjoyed like because they actually have done the redesign. There are spaces and places that are there to trap you. I mean, the number of times like if you've ever watched TV and sometimes you get that aerial shot and you think, how in the world did they not see that?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the 17 bunkers that are somewhere hidden in the fairway or some sort of ditch or just whatever it is, it's there. It's there all day long. It catches a lot of people by surprise. And even with the caddies going, I think you're okay. I mean, sometimes even the caddies weren't sure. Andrews was never sure, but some of the other caddies were just still like, I think you're going to be okay. Let's go find out. So, and because, like Robbie just mentioned, when there are tournaments played there, like I'm gonna just laugh at anybody that hits the hotel. Like, what are you talking about, dude? It's not that hard. Just pull out a 4 iron, bend it to a 2, punch it out there. It'll be fine.
I, I might say reversed.
Hmm. Okay. What's the logic there?
I don't know. I mean, just the uniqueness of it.
Okay.
How about y'all? What would y'all say?
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the front nine on the reverse was super, super interesting. The back nine got a little funky, mainly with having no idea where this ball is going to go. I would definitely pick forwards because of the history behind it all. But it's hard to say. It's going to be one of the hardest tee times to get. Period. So the reverse is interesting in that regard. But I'm very much ingrained in the history and seeing different tournaments being played there. So I would pick forwards, but the reverse has so much intrigue.
Yeah, on that sense too, with it being tough to get a tee time, I think it's cool being able to say, "Hey, we've played a course other than our local municipals that Tiger Woods hasn't played." It's a
That's right.
course that he says, "This is my bucket list, number one on my bucket list. I want to play the old course reverse." It's like, "Oh, I have Tiger." Now, had I had a foursome, I would have probably invited him, but I'm glad I got paired with you guys. But for my personal
Tiger would have
preference,
broke
I would
90.
say
He's also recovering from an injury, so
true.
he would have played well too.
That's true. But yeah, for my personal preference, I would say forwards as well. Just because you see it, like you said, they host the Open all the time. You see it in every Instagram post ever. It's like I can relate to it, and there's something to be said for following pros around a course and being like, oh, I was in that same bunker. That was cool, and this is what I did. So yeah, I would say that, and just the history overall. That's yeah, that's it. I don't know. It's just special. You feel
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
And we got
No, that's true.
bagpipes when we played forward. So
And we had bagpipes. That's crazy. No, I think as far as golf experiences go, like you talked about, like I don't even know what my score was, but like experiences, like the reverse is an experience that you might probably won't ever get again, right? Like, and so many people in the world of golf will never get. So like it ranks on the experience level really, really
mhm.
high. And just all that went into it, reversed, playing with you guys, the perfect weather that we had the entire time. Experience wise, it is near the very top for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But, I've wanted to play the old course. Back when, I started dreaming of playing the old course, like reverse routing wasn't even possible. So it's like you checked off one and like 1B that you didn't know was there. So
Yep.
it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Any shots or final thoughts that stand out besides Jonathan's 88?
I think Andrew playing from the tips all day long was the best part. And more importantly, Adam's wife asking, why is Andrew playing from a different spot? for like the first 5 holes.
I go back to my road hole experience. I cannot believe my drive was in bounds, and I kind of joked, you're supposed to hit it. What was it, over the L in old? I hit it over the L in hotel. That's not the right L,
Yeah.
guys. Not the right
When
L.
you hit it, I thought, oh man, that's
Oh,
gone.
it was fading too. I thought
It
there
was
was
fading. It was, yeah,
no
hard.
way it would be in bounds. So as I got up there and found out that it was not only in bounds, but it was in the fairway, I kind of looked over to the guys sitting out on the Jigger Inn patio, and I said, "Hey, whoever threw this back in, let me know. I'll buy you a Guinness right now. I appreciate you." So had a fun little banter back and forth with a couple tables there. But yeah, it's just crazy for anybody going to hit it over the hotel. Like, you do have room to miss to the right, but don't kill anybody at the Jigger, please.
Yeah, I'm proud that they said, my first caddy Jake said about one in every three groups have somebody that drills the hotel.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
and we survived. We survived that. We all hit great shots on that hole.
My second
Yeah,
shot, not
I
so
almost,
much.
I'm almost, my wife was probably a little disappointed. She was out there at that tee for 2 holes before we got there, and she's like, nobody hit it. And I was like, I would have wanted to see somebody hit it because it happened. And you can see the shrapnel from all the ball dents that are in the side of that wall, and which is always pretty cool. But it was good that we all striped it.
My caddy told a story. He said, I caddied a double one day, and in the morning, my guy hit the ball, and it hit this one random window. And he comes back, and he caddies in the afternoon, and he gets the guy on the hole. He's like, man, I was taking a nap earlier, and this golf ball drilled my window. So he caddied for the guy after the fact, and it hit his window. So it does happen. So. What were some of the highlights of the off-course stuff? I know we did get dinner a couple times with you guys, gelato there. But what were some of the highlights off the course for you guys?
Go for
For
it.
me, it was St. Andrews as a town. Like, it's just such a cool little town. Obviously, you've got the combination of the golf people that are there, and then you have the university that's there. It's a unique place, very walkable. Can kind of get to wherever you need to go. Some of my wife's got a couple pictures of us just walking through the course with the bags on our back, which was, or not the course, walking through the town with the bags on our back. And I think it's just such a cool little town that has kind of everything you want. And that was, I didn't expect that, or I didn't even know what to expect, but the town's really cool. My wife was able to go and do kind of her own thing and explore. And so it's not just a golf town. There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, I think in that sense too, kind of go back to what you were saying, Robbie, when we were teeing off and how many people were watching. Just being part of that experience too, when we weren't playing. I know I stood behind the 18th green for probably longer than Adam and his wife wanted me to, because they were waiting on me and they're like, "Where is this guy?" And I'm just standing there. I'm just having the time of my life. Just watch people come in, watch people make those memories. Just there's something special about it. I can't think of another real experience that I've had where you're just there watching people tee off, watching people finish the round of their life, or a round that they are never gonna top. This is a course that people, it is their bucket list course. So you see people embracing at the end of 18 there, and you're kind of sharing that moment with them. It's amazing. So being part of that, it just feels different. So yeah, definitely the actual golf part of St. Andrews it was just, you can't even explain it until you're standing there. So do it if you get the chance.
Yeah, our little flat had a coffee shop right down below, and one of the baristas was talking to someone just on holiday. They weren't even golfers. They just for some reason came to St. Andrews, and she said it's not lost on us that it is a college town. It is a golf destination, and yet it's so safe and so inviting. Uh, and like you said, Andrew, you're there witnessing quite possibly one of the happiest days of those folks' life. If you're playing golf, like if
Yep.
you're there to play golf, it's a good day. Like it's one of the best golf days you've had. I had a chance while we were waiting for our tee time to sit around and talk to this old couple, and he played it before, and they were just there on vacation. They'd had he said he's like, we just had a rough year, and so we decided to come to the sea, and he was literally just sitting on the bench, not really just sitting there, him and his wife just watching people tee off. And so you think about like the therapeutic nature of the ocean being right there. You're in a community that has fully embraced I think the joy of golf, the history of golf, and then there is a vitality to the city with whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're walking with your golf club somewhere, or you're waking up in the morning to catch that first cup of coffee, and there's just kids everywhere. I say kids because I'm 45 years old and they're kids to me, right? But there's just college students like just bopping around and having a good time, and you're going here and there. Domino's is delivered on a bike, for goodness sake. Like just this fun little quaint little place to be. So even if you don't like golf, if you just like people in a place that's warm and inviting, I'd say go. And if you like golf, just go anyway.
Yeah, we got in on Saturday night. We're going to play the next morning at Castle with you guys. We got in, and it's, we had a long day driving from Cairn across the country, flight from Dublin to Edinburgh, shuttle ride to our thing. It's 9:30, almost 10 o'clock at night, and Jonathan's like, you want to go walking around, don't you? I'm like, absolutely, I do. And so, like, we go out and done vegan, right? We see that, go have a pint of Guinness or two, and just, it was packed. There were college students, there were business guys still in their skinny ties and jackets, people just sitting around fellowshipping, having the time of our life, hung out chatting with the bartender there, just had a ball, and then walked out and saw the 1st and 18th there at the old course, just under the moon, right? Like it was beautiful. It kind of just set the scene of this is special. It's about to be a great few days of actually playing golf. But I agree with you guys. Jonathan made the comment too, like you said, Adam, like the crazy thing is, like, you see somebody walking down the street with golf clubs, like that's normal. Like, and I love it. Like, we saw somebody late at night, right, Jonathan, like carrying his golf clubs. Like he probably played and then went to a couple pubs and had a pint on his way back to his house. So the community aspect of it was incredible. So a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm more of a couple scoops versus a couple pints these days. So
Yeah.
shout out to Gelateria.
Yeah.
And that was unbelievable. I think I went
How many times did y'all go?
too many, but not enough.
Great answer.
Double
Great.
coated every time.
The
I
last
tried.
night-
I told Jonathan early on, like, "Hey, man, we need to go here," and it was finally the last day with you guys. I'm like, "I'm going," and he's like, "Fine, I'll go." Like,
It was
I think he
funny.
appreciated.
The third night, yes, 3 nights in a row I went. The third night, I actually took I forget if it was the caddies or somebody's advice. They said get the shake. The shake is the best thing on the menu. So I get this shake. I get two flavors that I don't know, I had earlier in the week because I thought it was a safe bet. Honestly, the shake was a little overrated. I think I got about a third of the way through, and I was like, "Holy cow! They are still serving waffles. I'm gonna go get this waffle." So I get the waffle thing. She rings me up. She goes, 10 pounds. And I said, "Are you asking me how much I've gained since I've eaten it this week?" And she was like, "Stupid American, terrible joke." But
Yeah.
that place was, oh man.
Once again, Andrew gets bad caddy advice.
Yep.
Even off the course, they can't help him.
You got to take it with a grain of salted caramel, I guess.
There it is.
All right. Well, as we start to close this thing up, we normally ask everybody, "What's your most memorable golf shot ever?" Let's do it from this trip. Andrew, we heard your story, right? We'll never get a better story, I don't think, than that. Adam, what was your most memorable over those 3 days? And I know you guys went on to play Kings Barnes, Carnoustie, and North Berwick. But from the 3 days we were together, what was the most memorable shot?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. It's that 4-iron into 17 on the four. So a good 4-iron for me typically goes 200 yards. I'm not terribly long, and so I had 210. I was like, "There's no way I'm going to be able to hit this shot anywhere near the green. I don't want to be left in the bunker." But my caddy's like, "No." He said, "This is perfect. You're going to land it short. It's going to roll up." And I absolutely strike that thing, and I will. And every time I see the old course, I will remember that shot because I had no business walking away with a potential birdie putt from where I was at, even though I did hit a good drive. But that's a 4-iron that I'll remember for forever.
Jonathan, is it the putt for 88?
The putt for 88 is sort of like a culmination of the entire day, right? It's the 88th shot that you took. I never felt like I got myself in trouble, and whenever I did, the golf gods were like, "We're going to give you this one day." So I had the one shot that I hit errant. It was going up. I don't know if it hit a stake or a root or something, But all of a sudden it just goes, oh, we're just going to stop here and go a little right before we get into the bunker. I had another
Oh yeah,
one.
I watched that shot.
Right.
It rolled
Yeah.
up and hit the mound, and then
No idea.
perfectly between the bunker and the gorse.
Exactly where it needed to be. I had another one that I had hit it out of bounds. I took my drop, hit my second shot, and me and Nachi looked for it for, it felt like forever. You guys were further back, like doing other stuff, and it just happened to catch the cart path, the one part that actually had a cart path, and it bounced another probably 50 yards closer to the hole. And I was able, I think I got up and down on that par five for either like five or just a six. So like just moments after moment of throughout the day of just shots, doing what I would hope at some point in my life they do all the time. So maybe someday when we do play against Adam and Andrew again, I'm shooting the 75 and the 74. But it is hard to beat. It is hard to beat that last putt though. Like it went in. It wasn't one of those, oh, it just slipped out and then you get an 89 and you're like, I broke 90, but to break it with that little putt that falls in, that feels really good. So let's go do it again.
Yes.
Let's do it. I think for me, I had a couple drives, 9 and 10. 9 drove the green on that par 4, missed the eagle putt. And then 10 kind of pulled it, but hit it really well and is just off to the left and was able to roll it up. So back-to-back birdies, 9 and 10 was a lot of fun. But
didn't you have a chance on 11 too? I remember you had a chance at birdie on 11 too to do 3 in a row.
Maybe. But you know, the memorable shots, right? Both first drives, and then the shot on, drive on 17, and then looking back, the drives on 18. Right? You'll just always remember those. So those were highlights for me. But yeah, it's memorable forever. I think it's something that it was fun to experience with you guys. Jonathan, why don't we jump into our quick 9?
All right.
And let's round table these things. So we'll just kind of pop and give quick answers to you.
Is this cross anywhere at any time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, first question. What's the favorite course that you've ever played?
Well, jeez. I had 4 different answers over the past week because it just kept going like this. I mean, that whole trip, St. Andrews Reverse, then St. Andrews, and then Kings Barnes. Shout out Kings Barnes. That place blew my mind. And then the next day we played Carnoustie, and I was like, this is spectacular too. So yeah, I would say probably Carnoustie right now. Yeah, we're still riding that high though.
Yeah, for me, Carnoustie's riding the high because I played outrageously well there as well. But outside of the trip, Pasatiempo is incredible. That back 9 at Pasatiempo is unmatched, and I would highly recommend everyone to go play that.
Jonathan, what about you?
I've got Old Course and Karn and the Chalk Mine still at my top of my ratings. The golf balls at the top, but I'm gonna go Old Course. I don't think I'll ever beat in my life. Oh, we joked about this on the way home. I'm gonna get really good, and next year when we're picked for the media, I'm gonna break 80 at the Masters. So unless I do something like that, I don't think I'm ever gonna break like the first time you break 90 being at the Old Course. That's gonna stay at the top of the list for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Old Course reverse for me for sure.
Nice.
All right, you might not have many left, but course at the top of your bucket list.
For me, it's Bethpage. I've played quite a few. I've been fortunate to play quite a few top courses, but I've not got a chance to get out and play Bethpage. Obviously, with the Ryder Cup coming this year, it's kind of even more in the forefront of my mind. But non-private edition, there's plenty of private courses I'd love to go play, but the more accessible Bethpage would be my choice.
I didn't know we were going accessible. I was like, Bethpage over Cypress, over Pine
Well,
Valley. Are you okay? Like, do I need to drive to your house and do a wellness check right now? Well, I think you just heard my 2 answers: Cypress and Pine Valley, obviously. So, just for as many reasons as you want. I mean, I just want to go to Clementon Splash Park. So,
I'm excited that this summer I have a chance to get a 2-on-2. And quite possibly in the same trip, I'm going to get a 10-on-10. So we're playing up there at Pinehurst.
Nice.
And my golf game is both of those directions. I could easily get a 2-on-2 or a 10-on-10. So I'd say up there at Pinehurst.
I've got 2 deuce coins. I had
Dude,
2 twos
really?
on 2. I did.
Man, that's awesome.
Very nice.
What about you, Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about Bandon. I talked about the Sand Valley stuff. Those are realistic bucket list trips for me that I want to knock off here soon. And so hopefully we can do that.
All right. Best food you had in Scotland. Can I go first on this one?
Yeah.
Try the haggis. Don't ask what it is. And then if you ever get a chance to get a macaroni pie with some hot sauce, 100% sign up for that.
I know Adam's answer, and mine's very similar, but I'm going to choose something different because I do that when ordering off the menu too. I mean, you know, gelato is my favorite food, but we went and got like legitimate fish and chips one night. We drove down to this little town, I think it was Anstruther, and went to this old school. One thing the caddy crushed was the recommendation there, so shout out him. But just to have traditional fish and chips in Scotland, unbelievable. Can't beat it. You know, you have to fight the seagulls outside for your meal too. It's great.
Yeah, for me, the duck course that I had at Old Tom restaurant, or not duck, sorry, the lamb, it was out of this world. We went to a Michelin restaurant later in the week, and it didn't even compare to that. Like we had some good bites, but man, that dish at that restaurant was memorable for me.
Yeah, having fish and chips at the Jigger Inn, overlooking 17 there was a lot of fun and very very good food
With a blanket.
with a blanket
They gave you a
and
blanket.
a Guinness
That's
to keep
right.
you warm.
2 blankets.
Yep. All right. Best merch that you purchased.
I mean, I love this thing I'm rocking right now. Little FootJoy. I don't even know what pattern it is. It's just so unique quilted, I guess. I'm not sure. This was awesome. As far as purchase goes, I don't know if there's a later question of merch received versus not.
Yeah, that's 4B. What's the favorite merch received?
I mean, I think you got it right behind you. I think that's
The head
the thing
cover?
in the world. Yeah, I don't even know what to do with it. Like, do I try to sell it on the secondary market? I don't know. Do I keep
Yeah.
it? I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna.
My question is like, do you use it? Like,
I don't know.
I'm going to go buy a driver just so I can have one. Like, it's going to be great.
pulls out his 4-iron out from under that thing.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. That'd be perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, go ahead, Jonathan.
I was going to say, never in my life have I thought, why does anybody have this little book cover thing that keeps a scorecard? And now for the rest of my life, I'm just going to be like, oh, what did you shoot? And I'm going to have the St. Andrews Old Course booked. I'm gonna ask for yardage books everywhere. I'm gonna go to like the local municipal. You guys got a yardage book? I'm really good. I need to check my yardage. So
Well, and I'll shout out all the courses provided those things, and we
Yeah.
didn't have to buy them. I mean, that is something that a lot of courses here in the States don't do, and so we got a little bag from each of them that sort of provided the yardage book, some tees, a pencil. So some of those collector items were provided, and for me, I'm very much a flag collector. So I've bought a flag at all the courses. I know we tried to coax the greenskeepers if they had one of the old course reverse flags that we could have, but those flags will go up on my wall with a bunch of others, and so those will always be my big
Yeah,
purchase.
Jonathan, I appreciate you tiptoeing the line of a lifetime ban at St. Andrews to
oh
potentially
man,
make that
Robbie
happen.
and I'm telling you, if literally if my morality meter was just a tad bit lower, there's not a chance I would have stole that thing. But I don't steal things. I've never made any sense to me. Now I was willing to bribe anybody that was willing to listen. Like don't think that I'm like this holy. Like I went around and asked people. I got cash in my pocket. How much would it take for me to have all those flags right now? And no one took me up on it. So
They got to do something with them. Like, I hope they at least like raffle them off
Yeah.
for charity or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
yeah, make some money because there's 18 incredible unique flags that people would want.
Oh, there's a good question. This isn't
What's
included
that?
in it. How much would you pay
Ooh,
for an old course reverse flag?
a lot.
Andrew doesn't have to ask a wife.
That's true. And actually, let's. This was a great soundbite from the week. Adam had one of the funniest lines that I've ever heard him utter. After I hit that wedge shot, he goes, "I can tell you're single with money if you're hitting a wedge off the freaking street."
Yep. That's funny. Yeah, flag and yardage book for me, plus the collectibles, like you said, Adam, that they gave us. Even just the reversed scorecard and yardage book and the pencils, which is funny. Like, we learned the pencil and T from the old course reversed were recycled from like old coffee grounds and stuff. So there it is.
It is.
If you're watching the video, the pencil's being held up right there. So, yep. Very, very cool. All right. Describe the Scotland experience in one word.
We can't though. We didn't get the Scotland experience. It was 55 and sunny the whole time, Robbie.
You experienced it in your own way.
I did actually get that same question earlier today. Funny enough, I got a friend of mine who is a caddy in the States and he's from Scotland. He asked me the same question, and my response was spiritual. So just everything about it. Like I said, it's people always say it feels different. It does. It really does.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's kind of sappy but memorable. I mean, I'm not gonna remember, or I'm not gonna forget any part of the trip. And there's so many courses outside of St. Andrews too that I want to get back and play. And obviously, anytime I go back, if when I ever do go back to Scotland, Old Course I'll always enter my name in the ballot. But if you don't get it, you can create an awesome trip that's going to have memories and great courses outside of that. So it's a memory that I'll have forever.
You go ahead, Robbie. I'm
Jonathan?
still trying to think. I don't know if I have a word.
Uh, yeah, perfect. I mean, I think might be the word. Memorable is a great one. I do want to kind of borrow and steal. We met Kieran Harris, who we'd interviewed before on our podcast, moved his family to St. Andrews because he loves the game, loves that. And he got in through the local ballot and played the reverse routing the morning we did. But in our podcast, we asked him to describe St. Andrews, and he said it's a thin place because it takes you so close because of the experience to the spiritual, to the memorable, to the whatever. It's a thin place. And like, I love that. I thought about that a number of times while we were playing there because it is the home of golf. It's where it all started. You walk up to the cemetery, you see Old Tom, you see all these others. You just see the town that is kind of or built around the university, the courses. It brought you closer to golf, and it was awesome. Jonathan, you come up with something yet?
I mean, it's an experience. I know it's two words, but like
So is
from
88.
yeah, but I mean, like even from like just the drive up with the cat with the driver trying to tell stories that me and Robbie couldn't hear, because
He had a thick brogue
yeah,
accent.
yeah, and we were it was late. We were a little tired, but just you're walking the streets. You've got the caddies. Like every single moment you turn around, there's another experience to have, whether it's golf or food or people or your feet just being tired from 70,000 steps in a day. Just a full experience. Yeah.
Yep. All
All
right.
right. Favorite golf movie?
Oh,
Wow. I mean, Legend of Bagger Vance is a banger. Not gonna lie, that's an underrated one in my book. I know that's an outlier, but that's my pick.
yeah. I've got some corny ones, like the greatest game ever played. That's a corny movie, but I always watch that one. But I'm gonna go to comedy and say Happy Gilmore. I mean, excited about the number two coming out. Obviously, it's gonna be hard to live up to that, but Happy Gilmore is kind of the one that made. I don't want to say it makes it seem like golf was cool, but kind of brought a lot of people to eyes on the game. But there's so many good ones. I mean, Tin Cup, you can't go wrong with that one either.
Jonathan, what you got?
Mine's always Tin Cup. I grip it and rip it. At some points, I feel like my game's so bad, I got to put everything in my left pocket. Andrew off the road was a Tin Cup moment if I've ever seen one. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Happy Gilmore guy.
Can I can
All right, Jonathan. Jonathan's favorite question. Go
Can I
ahead.
plug a quick? It's a documentary, but and I'm not a huge
Oh,
documentary guy. Adam and I both love this. It's on, I think it's Amazon Prime. It's called Loopers, The Caddy's Long Walk. It's about hour 15, and it's amazing. It is. I think Bill Murray's in it. So if that counts as a movie, I'd like to rebuke my answer and put that in because it's amazing. I
Absolutely.
would recommend any golf nut to watch it. They talk to caddies at Scotland. They talk to caddies at Bandon. Like I said, Bill Murray narrates and is in it. It's a spectacular little documentary that's put together. I'd highly recommend it.
Well, Andrew, if you ever listen to our podcast, one of our recent guests, Ward Clayton, who wrote the legendary Caddies of Augusta National, was consulting on that
Wow.
movie. So,
Okay.
yeah, so you're like 2 degrees from like part of the movie.
I love it.
Yep.
They interviewed your caddy.
Yeah. It would. Yeah. That's why it was an hour 20.
All right.
All right,
Favorite
Jonathan, your favorite question.
favorite question. What's your favorite snack on the course?
oh.
You got what?
After, oh,
Protein snack. Oh, what's that?
These are the
St.
Andrew's
same
golf
Bakery.
balls. Look at that.
Which, funny enough, so it feels sacrilegious because I have to compare them to the
To the banded
protein
ones,
balls
right?
at Bandit, which you guys haven't got to experience. But we got the fortune to talk to one of the Dream Golf. I forget what his exact role, and I don't want to air it out on this podcast here. But I was saying like, hey man, like these were pretty freaking good. Like which came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, did you copy St. Andrews? They copy you? And he's like, we don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to give you that answer. So, but those things are spectacular. That's my new answer.
How many of those did you buy to bring home?
Too many, but not enough.
I
I
love
played
it.
150 rounds of golf last year. I bought 150 packages. They looked at me odd at security.
not including the sausage and haggis roll, which was spectacular. My typical go-to is I always get a bratwurst with ketchup and relish is kind of my go-to at the turn, and that's always the thing that I look forward to. So, but those those sausage and haggis rolls were actually really really good.
Jonathan?
It's been a long time since I've had to answer this question, and I'm still sticking with tacos. If there's ever a golf course anywhere that wants to put a taco stand, go to Cabo, figure out how they did it. They put it right after hole number 4. You get to eat it again on the back. If I ever own a golf course, Cinco de Mayo, we'll have a taco stand on every single hole. And you can get a taco and maybe a drink of some sort every single hole for 18 holes. It'll be the best day ever.
Stream Song Blue has a taco stand at the turn.
Do they?
They do.
Bucket list course is now street
They're-
somewhere.
I just played it. I just played it in February. It's fantastic.
Oh man,
That
tacos
taco
are it.
station at
The,
Elmira, though, is spectacular. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
The one in Cabo?
Yeah.
Oh,
Was it Quivera on the 4th, where you're just overlooking the entire? Yeah.
Puerto. They might do it everywhere. It's Puerto Los Cabos.
Gotcha. Okay.
They might do it on all the golf courses down there, and if they
Might.
do, it's genius. You get
It is.
tacos and an adult beverage if you choose every 3 to 4 holes. And that was the only thing I was looking forward to after every hole. I was like, oh, we're almost back to the taco stand.
Yeah, the turn recency bias. The turn there having the Scotch pie, that was really really good. A little warm, meaty, crusty pie there at the turn. Compare it to like you were saying the brat or the hot dog at the turn is it was appropriate for where we were. I appreciated that. All right, favorite golf course logo.
Ooh.
Wow.
I know right away just because it is one of the coolest logos. Whistling Straits logo is it's like this, almost looks like demigod, this blowing wind. That logo is pretty legit. Pasatiempo's logo is pretty good too, but out of the courses I've played, the Whistling Straits logo is my favorite.
Andrew's got a lot to choose from.
There are a lot to choose from. Man, that's tough because like I'm not a logo snob, but like a good logo goes so far. It goes so far. It drives merch sales, drives everything. I haven't played it. Obviously, Sleepy Hollow logo is unbelievably cool.
What about you were wearing the logo all week, the one that you really like?
The Cabot logo?
No, the tree.
I don't
You'd
know,
have the tree
man.
on.
I mean that doesn't count because it's an alternate logo.
Alternate
So
logos count.
Old Mac has the ghost tree logo, which I think is spectacular. Funny enough, have that logo on a flag, which I'm gonna hold ransom because I don't think Adam played it when they had that logo. So
No.
for the right price, I will happily part with that. But yeah, I mean the tree logo, the ghost tree logo from Old Mac is probably my favorite logo. But it's alternate, so does it count?
Jonathan, you got one? It does count.
I've got one. It's going to be the Old Course logo that they give out next year to all the people who play Old Course, because I'm going to email them 100 times and tell them you're missing out. There's got to be something where you do something for people who are playing the Old Course reversed. And so they need to come up with the alternate logo to the Old Course, include it in the swag.
They
And
did
I'm
just
gonna
drop an alternate logo while we were there.
What?
Yeah, the Swilken Bridge is now an alternate logo for
Is
them.
it really?
It
It
is.
wasn't in the shop.
It was
Oh, wait a minute.
the next day.
Actually, is it this one right here?
No.
No,
This
is- this is a
it's just an
Swilken
outline
Bridge.
of it. It's actually spectacular. So they
Oh,
put that in the merch
gosh.
shop. I think the 2 days after the reverse. or
Wow.
reverse round. Yeah.
Old course
Yep.
reverse logo. We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Old Barnwell, Tree Farm, those new things, obviously, but I do think alternate logos for some of these historical Scottish, Irish, European courses could go a long way. But like Jonathan said, like if Old Course Reverse had a package deal for everybody walking in, and here's your flag, here's your whatever with some alternate special cool reverse logo, or just Old Course Reverse written on it, and say, hey, you want to pay £100 for this?
Yeah.
How many people would be like, how many times can I swipe it? Like, let's
Yep.
go. And you only get one per person.
That would be the best part. Yeah.
Yep. All right, final question. Where to next? Jonathan, I know you mentioned the Pinehurst trip that we're doing. Best ball, good company.
Yeah.
How about you guys? Adam, Andrew, where y'all going?
For me, I think the big trips are going to be on pause for a bit as my wife and I are kind of waiting on adoption. So the big trips are gone. I've got a buddy who might get me on Oakland Hills this summer. So I'm really looking forward to that. Obviously, that's a U.S. Open venue and really would be excited to do that. But big trips are probably on hold for a while, but that's one course that I'm looking forward to this summer.
I don't have any huge trips coming up. Last year was just so packed. Like Jonathan said, I played 115 rounds at 104 different courses last year. So I'm traveled out for a hot minute. But next week, at the end of next week, I'm going to Cleveland / Western Pennsylvania area. Unfortunately, not playing Oakmont or anything like that, but I partner with the Penn Ohio Golf Trail, and I'm doing an event with them, a 3-day event, playing a couple different courses. So excited for that. And so I'm going down to Bristol, Tennessee, early August. I'm a big baseball fan, and my Reds are playing against the Braves at Bristol at the actual Speedway. So gonna try and sneak on the honors course somehow down there. So if anybody's watching this and wants to host me, yeah, this is a shameless
Oh,
plug.
I'll also jump in. I'm still trying to figure out a way to get down to Old Barnwell to play with you guys. So that's definitely on the
Well,
list at some point.
you have a place to stay automatic. We already knew that. We could probably have that conversation off the camera. I bet we could figure that out.
Absolutely.
We can help make it happen.
I was gonna
Perfect.
say
We already talked about that.
I was gonna say like there's got to be a weekend in June or July that there's a road trip to Indianapolis, and I mean Andrew's got his own
Place to
course
stay.
now.
It's
He's a
that couch
member.
right there, buddy.
Hey, listen,
I
we'll
got a
take
bed
it.
for you. I can sleep 22 in this place.
If you're listening, you're invited. Come on. That's awesome. Well, no, let's. We will definitely figure out how we can get this foursome back together again. Guys, it was an unbelievable trip.
Yeah.
I think all the things lined up: weather, courses, friends, new friends, old friends, and it was something that, like you said, you all said, we'll never forget. So. It was a lot of fun. Many thanks to the St. Andrews Links through the ballot system that Adam and Jonathan got selected. Many thanks for Andrew and I that we were selected from you guys. We are appreciative of the invite to join y'all. But it was a lot of fun. Any final words before we close this thing up?
I think the only thing that was missing, we joked about how none of us have a hole in one. We all wanted it to happen. It didn't happen. So one of these days.
I thought we were going to say wives because Adam brought his wife, and I'd love to have brought my
I'm
wife.
super appreciative that Adam's wife doesn't golf, because if she did, I wouldn't have got the invite. That's all.
Yeah, my final words are basically, I was already a golf nut and passionate before, but this just like reinvigorated or made it bigger, and you guys added to that and really just made the experience much more better. And I'm excited to, the people that we met or meet along the way. Golf's it's a big world, but a small world. I talked to somebody who knew somebody that worked at the same place that I work, and it was like, man, that's crazy. So I've already emailed him. We're setting up a time to go play 18. And so it's really, really reinvigorated my love for the game.
I agree. Jonathan, final thoughts?
Golf is people. I mean, I think that entire week, obviously the golf would have been fine, but make or break by the two of you being able to be a part of it, and to take my best friend and the guy that we get to do this with all the time, Robby, as well, 100%. Just it was the cake, the ice cream, and the cherry on top. Sorry, gelato.
Did they put
Gelato.
Did they put cherry on the gelato?
It's gelato.
He keeps it's just tricking me.
Yeah. Got to go back. He didn't have it enough. He didn't have it enough. He's not fully indoctrinated in the gelato world.
Shout out to
Well,
Robby too for commenting on the old course. That's kind of what kicks it all off, you know. And then I'm over here. I am sliding in a 40-year-old dude's DMs.
yep. No, it was perfect. And I told Jonathan, I was like, man, I haven't seen a ton of people comment. This is like right at the trip. I haven't seen a ton of people commenting about going to play and all this other stuff. The one person that I do, we're paired with, like, and it worked out perfectly. So, guys, thank you. I love the fact that new friendships were born through golf. Like Jonathan said, golf is people, and I'm excited to tee it up with you guys again. Let's figure out another time where we can get together. Be a lot of fun. Cool. All right. Well, for Andrew and Adam and Jonathan, this is Robby, and you guys have been listening to a special episode of the Whole Story Podcast. Have a good one.